morning. You are watching QTV this morning. I am Ibrahim Abalde. It's good to be here again. It's Wednesday and the 6th of July 2022. And I am joined by my colleague in the studio already, Mr. Aliou Cisse. We'll give him double Mr. Aliou, you are qualified now. Welcome on board, brother.
Thank you so much, Balde. It's a pleasure to be back on this morning program.
It's good to have you here. We are not going to take much of your time here because we know very soon you'll start. You have a private conversation to do now. I mean, we'll understand you. Your wife is waiting on the line. Aliou Cisse is married finally. Congratulations, Aliou. Kepo ku nga xamne ya nge setan ñu ne Aliou Cisse sey na legi. So say that there, you know, if you know, you know. Huh, Aliou?
Yeah.
So how do you feel, brother?
Alhamdulillah. That's life. I mean, Lord just like akwaktam la. So just thanking Allah and then, you know, looking forward to a peaceful and blessed marriage. And then once again, thank you so much for the congratulations and well wishes from across the world.
Well, because at some point I received a whole lot of calls, people confirming, is Aliou really married? I said, mantam how many no go dege no la go dege. So I have to ask. You know, the other time I called you just to ask. You were in Nigeria by then. Yeah. So I have to call, boy, are you really married? And you confirm. And I cannot still believe.
Oh, really? Yeah. And you are still congratulating me?
Well, I have to because people are congratulating you.
Anyway, I am married now.
Well, thank you very much. It's good to be back on this platform. And today on the program, we'll be looking at the African proverb. And of course, we'll also do the newspaper review with Lamin Fall. And as you know, Lamin is not a new face on QTV. Been here on several occasions, helping us to review the newspaper. And from there, we'll look at Tobaski preparations. We'll talk to Alaji Jallo, our regional correspondent in Basse, to tell us how people are preparing the business and all transactions when it comes to Tobaski in URR. And of course, we'll also have a live view. Hadinyang will be in Banjul to look at the crossing points. And of course, when you talk about crossing points, it's not only the ferry, but we also have canoes, crossing people to the other side of Banjul. And of course, on social issues, we'll be looking at how two young men are trying to put a gallery together. Arts gallery together. We'll be talking to Mohamed Lamin Sanyang and Abdullah Conte. They'll be joining us on the program. But first, we'll start with the African proverb. And it reads.
It reads, a river is never afraid of who is swimming in it.
A river is never afraid of who is swimming in it. Well, this proverb, it came late yesterday, courtesy of Alaji Malik, our MD. Said, why not you just take a look at this? So he sent it to the group. A river is never afraid of who is swimming in it. And this point, we will engage Lamin Fall. Lamin Fall, you are welcome on the program.
Well, thank you very much, Balde. Thank you for having me, and congratulations, Aliou. May Allah bless your union. So yeah, looking at this quote, a river is never afraid of who is swimming in it. Yeah. I'll look at it from another perspective when it comes to tapping into someone's knowledge. Regardless of how many people are coming to you to learn, it's never going to take away what you already have in you. So that's how I see it. Yeah. Always be willing to share the knowledge that you have and not feel threatened that the more you share, the more you lose. Yeah. You know, there is always, going to be what has already been there, regardless of how many people tap into it. That's how I see it.
Nothing changes actually.
Nothing changes at all. So just share.
Yeah. It doesn't matter who's swimming in it, the river is just there. So I think
it's never afraid of who is swimming in it. Yeah. Well, from my own perspective, like an interpretation, it's like you have to always, stick to your position no matter what. You have to believe who you are. You don't have to go low at some point to the extent of losing your integrity. That's my own interpretation. When I talk about going so low, you don't have to go low. Doesn't mean, you have to be low at some point. But I mean, when you look at the proverb, it's telling you to make sure you maintain where you are, maintain your stand. Let nothing shake you. Let nothing change your position. If you believe in something, you have to make sure you stick to it.
Yeah, true.
Yes. Once again, thank you very much, viewers. You're watching QTV this morning, and Mr. Lamin Fall is already in the studio. Should I call him Mr. Lamin? Should I call him Mr.? Ali, the
No,
Mr. belongs to only you two.
Married men.
Yeah, we are. So you mean we have 2 married men and a bachelor?
Yeah, exactly.
On this morning.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Problem.
All right. So we are organizing.
I'm still okay.
Ali Sise is organizing a football match between married men and the bachelors after Tobaski.
Yeah, after Tabaski.
All right, viewers, we'll take a short break. After the break, then the newspaper review. We'll be back.
Check out the all-new Tigo 8 at S-Pass Motors. Call 3522-222 or 353-2222 for more information. Cherry.
Watching QTV this morning, and of course, if you miss anything discussed here, you can go to our social media handle. You can, go to our YouTube or Facebook, and of course, this program is repeated at 12 a.m. too. And of course, we'll go straight to the newspaper review now. Ali, what do we have there?
Well, on the Point newspaper, I have in CRR, armed robbers wound shopkeeper during attack. That happens in the Central River region, and also Gambia World Bank signed $68 million grant to help to revitalize and rejuvenate the country's tourism sector. 371 public and environmental health officers suspended without salary for 2 months. And then in Kasama's migration boat sinks in Kafountine, where we understand some Gambians are involved. And also ECO was poised to produce ECO and then lift Mali sanctions. That's what we are having on the Point newspaper. All
right, thank you. This is the Voice newspaper, and I don't know if this story is repeating itself or still the newspaper is picking the story from last week. Fire service officers attacked in Joswang, and of course MC Cham ISIS on bringing back the draft constitution statement made by former VP. And of course, 2 Gambians confirmed that in Kafountine migrant boat accident. And of course, we also have Transport Ministry sensitized over 5,000 students on road safety. NACO convenes stakeholders contract collaboration fair in rural Gambia. That's what we have on The Voice. And let's take a look at the 4IR newspaper. PSC suspends 371 public health officers from duties without salary. And of course, female politician and arrested, released. And we have Yusuf Taylor and Killer Ace. Yes, I think that's what we have. Gambian lament high cost of rams. I am interested in that story.
Well, Lamin, let's start with the suspension of these public and environmental health officers. 371 is quite a huge number to be suspended from our health sector. What impact do you think this might have on the health service delivery in this country?
The impacts are very obvious because looking at a health sector, it is already draining. Draining in the sense that the health service delivery in this country is below par. And having a huge number of, health workers, suspended and without salary, meaning they're not going to be reporting to work, means that whatever we were struggling with is even going to go higher. which means people will be visiting hospitals, or maybe their immunization programs that are supposed to go on, which will not be able to go as they are supposed to. So this is going to have a ripple effect on the health service delivery in this country, and I just hope the authorities will come to an agreement with all of these, 100 plus that have been suspended, because I can fully recall some 2-3 weeks ago I went to the Go-To drugstore to have a COVID certificate, updated to the one with the QR code. And what the lady I met there told me was that we are not currently working. It was like, why are you not working? She was like, we are on strike. Okay, you're on strike for what? And that's where she stopped. So obviously
they're still having pending unpaid allowances.
Yeah, so obviously there are grievances among the staff that have not been addressed by the top management of the health sector as well as the government of the Gambia. Why this remains a misery? I think honestly they should come round the table, discuss the issues that are hindering the health service delivery in this country, that is also demotivating some of these staff that have given their all since the COVID pandemic started until date, and not even the COVID pandemic, but into other areas when it comes to health service delivery in this country. So really, I kind of feel it is unfair in the sense that this is not the first time that they've went on strike, or this is not also the first time that they've been complaining about unpaid allowances and stuff. So what is really happening? Where is all of that money going into? All of the grants that have come in, all of the money that have been pumped into the COVID fund, all of the COVID funds that have been pumped into the sector, where is all of that money going into? How about the funds that were misappropriated at some point? Who has accounted for all of those things? So really, there are a lot of questions that remain unanswered, and really punishing some of these staff for merely asking what they are entitled to is very unfair, to be honest.
Well,
and this is going to affect the population.
I think there is a lot going on. It's not only allowances. I mean, I think most of these public health officers, they felt that they are left out.
Oh, that is the case.
It should have been better than this. I mean, according to Gando, he was sitting right there, he said, I mean, there are people that are paid better than us. I mean, they are paid more money, they are given more allowance, they are given more priorities. I mean, and we are all doing the same job.
Or they are probably doing less.
Yeah. So, I mean, this is one of the reasons why they embarked on that sit-down strike. So what do you think should be resolved? Do you think putting up a very hot iron on them that will resolve this situation?
Really, it's just going to make things worse. Of course, it's going to be hard on their side, because I mean, staying at home without salary, that is not something anyone can deal with in this country, especially now that things are skyrocketing, prices of goods are going up. It is Tobaski period, so they of course need money going forward, even if not for the Tobaski period, but going forward they need to feed their families. They also need to cater for their own needs. So having to sit at home without pay is going to be very difficult for some of them, but also the ministry is going to feel it, the government of the Gambia is going to feel it, and the people of the Gambia are also going to feel it, because health service delivery will get poor and poor and poor by the day. So the sooner they solve this problem, the better. I saw the release from the, I'm not sure from,
Personal Management Office.
Exactly. That was more like a threat to me, instead of bringing them together and discussing what the issue was. If someone has something that is bothering them, you go to them and you talk to them, or you invite them and talk to them. You don't just issue a threat just like that. I feel that was very, very unnecessary, and that was very undiplomatic.
Well, that's where the issue of crisis management comes in. I mean, if you don't know how to manage crisis, I mean, it always get out of hand. And I think, like you said, I mean, for me, I don't think this is the right approach. I mean, you cannot just suspend these people for just merely, like you said, merely asking
for their entitlement.
Well, I mean, this is just adding salt to the wound. I mean, I don't think, you see, according to my chat with few health officials, most of these health officers you see, they have side jobs, you understand? And for us, I mean, as Gambians, all that we rely on is our Gambian hospitals. I mean, most people can afford the fees when it comes to our Gambian hospitals, you understand? So if you tell them to sit at home, they will still go and do their other jobs. I mean, you think you are punishing them, but for me, at some point, you're not punishing them. You're giving them more freedom to do certain things, while our hospitals are empty and other health sectors.
Yeah, and then the population would be the one to suffer. Yeah. Especially the low-income earners who only afford public hospitals, who are not able to, go to private hospitals, pay a huge amount of money just to get treated. So at the end of the day, it is a population that they're really bothering, and not some of these health staff who have other jobs somewhere. I have a job somewhere. I have my main job. I have a job somewhere. So really, in order to make ends meet, you do A, do B. So if the government of the Gambia, through the ministry or through PMO, is suspending all of these people, telling them to sit at home, they're going to go to their other jobs where they will be probably paid more, and then the ordinary Gambian would be the one to suffer. So honestly, the earlier they solve the problem, the better. The earlier they do so, the better.
All right.
I hope it is resolved as soon as possible, but then the approach for me is absolutely wrong. I mean, you cannot just suspend people for
especially
merely,
that amount.
You know,
I mean,
exactly.
this number of people.
371.
Where are they going to? I mean,
it's ridiculous.
All right,
to be honest.
Aliu, let's take a look at Gambian lamb and high cost of ram. And yesterday on the paper, I've seen some of the ram dealers said they are not customers. People are not buying. I said, may they not buy so that I can go and buy. If it's expensive, people will not buy. And obviously, prices will come down.
Are you sure prices will come down?
Well, I mean, if they want to go home with the ram. Fal, what do you think should be the future solutions to all this ram crisis in the future?
I mean, honestly, it's as though things keep just skyrocketing, year come, year go. So last year, prices were high, but this year they are higher. So obviously we are anticipating for things to even be higher the coming year. So the problem really should be tackled internally. I believe we should be able to come with innovative ways, and you know, in a way that we can promote the youth, or maybe people who are engaged in animal husbandry, you know, empower them so much so that they will be able to do all of these things internally and not having to rely on stuff that are coming from outside the Gambia. Maybe if they do that, empower certain people, give them a starting income, they will be able to control the price at some level. There would be some sort of equilibrium when it comes to, you know, the earning power of the ordinary Gambian, as well as how much they are going to sell some of these rams. Because if you really look at the situation, I mean, some of the rams even got here late because of the border closure with countries like Mali. With Mali, exactly. So you know, we are mostly dependent on things that are coming outside, and as a result, prices will keep going up. Maybe if there's a way, government can also look into how they tax some of these people that are coming into the country to sell some of these rams that they have. Maybe reducing that in order to make sure they also make it easy for the Gambian population, or maybe some of the offices that these people walk into could be giving out grants or something. I don't know. There has to be a way that we can stop.
Or maybe people start rearing their own rams. I mean, people
exactly. But
you have some people who have never, you know,
empowering local farmers would be the ultimate goal for me. Really.
Yeah.
Empowering local people doing it would be the ultimate goal for me. Really. Yeah.
All right, interesting. I am seeing something on the Fourier newspaper. Yusuf Taylor and Killer Ace. Yusuf Taylor, the managing editor of Gainako Online News, was on Tuesday, 5th July 2022, arrested whilst covering the arrest of Nene Frida Gomez at Senegambia police station. Yusuf's arrest comes barely 8 hours after the arrest of Nene Frida Gomez and with Lamin C over Global Home on matters connected to the disputed property in Pichilo. Yes. So
and as we understand, Yusuf was released yesterday.
Okay. So it's important to establish the reason for the arrest. I know, according to the paper, he was on coverage doing his journalism thing. And I know sometimes it's very difficult to differentiate between journalists and those that are not journalists. Some of the security forces don't know journalists. I mean, I can remember when elections were, before the elections, the Gambia Press Union, I mean, called on all journalists to make sure they wear their journalist outfit so that people can differentiate them. Can this be a matter of not identifying who a journalist is?
I mean, it's a bit tricky, but if he was simply arrested for doing his job, I feel that was an infringement of his right. That's number one. But also, it's also very important for journalists to, you know, make sure that they're easily identified, especially in a situation where there is chaos. You should be able to position yourself in a way that whoever sees you would be able to tell, oh yeah, this is a journalist and this is where they're from and they're doing this job. But also, I think our security personnel should be sensitized as regards what the work of a journalist is and why they should not, in any instance, you know, cause harm to a journalist or even maybe deter them from doing their work. We are partners in development, so they should be able to identify this. And I think this is something that the GPU should take up, and also every journalist should be responsible enough, like I said earlier, to make sure that they are easily identified in terms of being outside where there is chaos, because in the absence of being identified, any harm could come to you easily.
Yes, I can see the president of the Gambia Press Union, Basse, condemning this arrest and the call for the release of the journalist.
I mean, they could be released, but what is the assurance that it's not going to happen again? We have to look at mechanisms that we can put in place to make sure that stuff like this are completely eradicated. You don't have a journalist going out to cover an event and be threatened as though I could be arrested. Someone could beat me up, someone could slap me, someone could spoil my equipment. We need to put mechanisms in place that would ensure our safety. Each and every day we are out there to bring stories to the general populace. This should be the ultimate goal.
And by the way, the GPU has organized several trainings on safety for members of the press. I mean, but like you said, it's also important, you know, that we put into practice this knowledge that we gain from this trainings. It's not just about attending trainings, but at least, you know, you should be able to put into practice the knowledge gained, which is very important. Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. But also how we comport ourselves as journalists, it's also important when we are out there. It's very important. Not just being a journalist, you know, you can go anywhere or say whatever you want. I mean, sometimes how we comport ourselves in certain environment also matters.
Yes.
Yeah.
A journalist, at some point, you need to be neutral. You should not make it easy for people to identify you that you belong to a certain group or certain group of people. I mean, I think these are all ethics that people should know, you know. So let's move on. Farmers in Palen Wall of Fear, their crops will die after SECO refused to sell fertilizer to them.
Yes. Interesting.
Can
you look at the story?
What is the reason for not wanting to sell fertilizer to farmers?
Farmers in Palen Wall of Sabah Sanjal district in the North Bank region are extremely worried about their fresh-grown crops dying after they claim that a SECO in Jane Sanja refused to sell them fertilizer. Denying us fertilizer means killing us. We depend on farming for everything, so it is our lives. Let the SECO have magic. And I know they did not mention why.
The reason why?
They did not mention why.
But they're afraid that, you know, their crops might die because of fertilizer. I mean, at least crops might die because of lack of rain.
I mean, or too much of rain.
Exactly. But anyway, I mean, we should really know why.
Yeah,
the question also, why, you know,
but also I think we need to direct more attention into agriculture as a country, because you know, it's in a way the mainstay of the economy, and as such it should be treated with ultimate respect and be on top of the priority of the government of the Gambia, led by Adama Barrow. So really, depending on tourism and other volatile industries is not really the direction that we want to head as a nation. We need to focus on agriculture, we need to focus on manufacturing and other stuff. These are some of the things that will create more jobs. But depending on volatile industries, whereas anything could happen even outside the country, if it happens outside the country, it could be easily distracted, like the COVID pandemic that happened. Tourism completely came to a halt in this country. So really, I think we should be looking at other things that we will be able to manage, as in the threats we can manage. But there are certain industries, we focus so much energy into them, focus so much resources into them. Meanwhile, the threats are things that we cannot manage in any way.
Mr. Farah, I think you talk about a very important sector, agriculture. You and I will agree that a lot of money has been invested into agriculture. I mean, from Jawara's era, Jame and Barrow, millions of dollars agriculture projects. I mean, but there's nothing to show off as we speak. Most of these projects, I mean, you go there, they tell you, oh, these projects, you know, elapsed a few years ago, and there's nothing to show. So as the impact, the positive impact of those projects. It's a problem.
It's really funny because the Gambia is a country where projects only last for as long as there is money coming in from donors. So the sooner the money is finished, the project comes to a halt.
That's it.
The government of the Gambia is not able to ensure continuity of that project, and as well as they are not able to even identify what the KPIs are.
Exactly.
So really, it's just a matter of spending the funds and not really focusing into where the fund is going into.
Yeah.
That is all they use as their KPIs for the project. The key performance indicators is just spending the money.
Yeah.
What is the impact that it is really creating in that industry? Are we able to ensure continuity at the end of the funding? No. Most of these projects we have in this country, the sooner the donor, removes their hands from it, that's it.
That's it.
And
It's
really,
over.
I think it's about time that the government of the Gambia identifies
you
that.
know, I mean, it reminds me, we had the president of the Gambia Owners Livestock Association here. They talked about a whole lot of millions of dollars invested in small ruminant projects. I mean, to make sure Gambia would be self-sufficient when it comes to ruminant.
Livestock, yeah.
I mean,
Livestock.
he said, I mean, it's more of a 4 years project. But at the end of the time, when you go back after 4 years, you won't be able to see where
nothing. There's no impact at all. Okay, because no one is monitoring, no one is evaluating, and no one is fixing the problems. This is the problem that we have as a country. We are not able to ensure continuity. We are not able to evaluate and monitor projects as they go, be able to identify what is going wrong and fix it where necessary. This is the problem. So I think the government of the Gambia should, and with utmost seriousness, identify that these people that are coming into support are mainly development partners. They're here to start stuff and you continue as a government. They're not meant to do everything for you. And when they give you this money, pay attention to where you're going to put it into. Make sure that it is impacting people's lives. Not only to impact the lives of 50 people and then that's it. No, look at the whole region. How many people is this money going to impact? Look into who you're going to give it to. Is that person able to share that knowledge? Is that person able to impact other lives? But no, it's just about spending the whole money, and even sometimes at the middle of the project they will tell you, oh, we don't really understand what the project is all about.
Yeah, it's very unfortunate, and most of the time, most of these projects are all on workshops, and less tracks.
Exactly.
I mean, for me, I don't really get it. Like you said, I mean, when you have these funds, you can say probably 70% of that project all goes into operation. Yeah. The first thing is buy new cars, AC, every weekend track, pay yourself a lot of money. You go to the province to organize 2 days training for the local women there. You pay them tokens, and then you pay yourself thousands, and you say.
The problem that we have,
that's the reality.
Is we are not honest.
Honesty is a problem.
I agree.
We have to be honest.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, we don't have to spend the resources anyhow because it's not our money.
Yeah, but that's that is what is happening, and it's simply also because we have the wrong people in office.
Exactly.
So that's it.
That's why
I said, you're not fit for a position.
Leave.
You're not going to impact it.
I think the problem is more like, okay, I'm here today, I don't care. Whatever happens, I'm gone. Yeah. Whoever comes next will just inherit that problem and it will be on you. True. That's what we are saying. True. And most of the problems that this country is facing is as a result of that. Yeah. Right now, people are okay, certain things are not going right. Instead of fixing it, they don't care. No. They are there enjoying what they have. And then they move, and then another batch comes in, they inherit the same problem.
Man, small 5 years be like, dude. So, I'm Luma, Madam Sumayon.
Yeah, I think for me, like Fal said, I mean, the problem is about all of us. It's about society. It's about individuals.
It's about us, man.
Because when you talk about the government, it's the people who are working there. So if you are working for the government and you are not honest, I mean, you are not there to serve the interests of the people, and you think, okay, perhaps if I do something wrong, it all boils down to the one at the top. In this case, the president. You are not doing justice to the people. Oh, yeah. You are paid from taxpayers' money. I agree. For God's sake, serve your country well.
Even though.
But if you are there, okay, let me fight the president. I don't care. Because if it goes from people say Islamic fall. Yeah. You know? So, I mean, it's a problem.
Even though we have people that are not honest in the system, we still have very good ones. Yeah. I went to the immigration yesterday to process my ID card. I was really impressed the way they were handling these things. We have very good people.
How are they handling it? Because people's experience may differ. Maybe it is because Ibrahim Abale, they might be nice to you.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
Exactly. Someone else might go and then, you know, they start asking you where's your grandfather from and all those things.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, if you provide all the necessary documents, you should not have a problem. You should not bribe any immigration officer. You don't you don't have to provide, you don't have to bribe any immigration officer to get you a document.
Well, I beg to differ. As Gambians, we have complex when it comes to famous people, to be honest. Complex in the sense that we tend to treat them better than we treat others. If you're famous, if you're well-known, people treat you in a nice way. Yeah. So that could have been a case when you went to the immigration department.
It's difficult to understand.
People see you.
But anyway, I understand our regional correspondent in Upper River region,
Exactly.
Alaji A.F. Jallo, is on the line now, Balde.
Yes. All right, we'll talk to Alaji Jallo. We'll take a look at what is happening in Basse too. Alaji, hello. Good morning, sir.
Yeah, good morning, Balde. How are you doing?
It's good to see you. You look very good on the screen. Is that? Oh, look at Alaji Jallo.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you. Well done, guys, over there.
Yes. So what is happening in Basse? You know, we have few days to Tobaski.
Yeah, obviously, at the moment, first of all, the climate, we have a cloudy climate. It's just preparing to rain in Basse. And that's notwithstanding, yeah, like you said, this is the Tobaski period, and everybody is gearing up for the Tobaski. But this Tobaski seems like it's a dull Tobaski. Looking at the past Tobaski, the movement that we used to see, we are not seeing those movements presently, particularly at the selling points where people go to sell their rams or animals for Tobaski. I visited so many places. Yesterday, I was all the way in Woodley. I went to certain weekly markets, commonly known as Lumos.
Yes.
But if you look at the Lumos this year, the Lumos are very, very dull. Now, if you talk to some of the people, they will tell you, well, situations are not easy with them. People say there is no money, the flow of money in the market, and the prices are skyrocketed. You cannot understand. So a host of issues are happening here. So the Tobaski preparation is on, but it's not like it used to be before. You know, before when you see members of the family visiting different, tailoring workshops and so on and so forth, you go to the market, like Basse Market, used to be very, very busy.
Absolutely.
But this time around, I was there yesterday, but you can see the market is because it's a newly built market, also that also contributed. But people are not, you cannot see the people anymore. Before, we used to see the Senegalese, the border town in Senegal, they come down here to purchase their things for the Tobaski. But the business is very, very going on very slowly.
Yes.
Yes.
Alaji, Basse and Banjul can be, they are two different places. I mean, each place, maybe there is a particular reason why Tobaski is not booming. So what do you think is the problem when it comes to URR?
Yeah, it's a common problem. This is actually the complaint, like when we get from the people, the problem is the prices of commodities have risen very, very high, and people cannot afford some of these things that in the market. If you look at the prices of animals, you know, the tag price here in Basse as we speak, it's from 10,000 above.
Wow.
A common person will find it very difficult to get a 10,000 to get a ram or to get even a goat. You understand? These are some of the even like you go to the market to buy clothing. The clothing, people will say that it has gone very high, and they put all the blame on the foreign exchange and so on and so forth. You can't understand. But the situation is there is no control. The market is so free. People are doing whatever they feel like. There's no control anywhere in the market. So it's like in a free economy, at least there should be that little bit of control. But it's unfortunate that at the market here in Basse, in URA, businessmen are exploiting people. Businessmen are not feeling what people are feeling because they are just doing whatever they feel like. I think it is the responsibility of the institutions concerned to come down and to be able to help the people so that people will get what actually they want, Balde.
Yes, absolutely. I am surprised now the price of ram in Basse can go up to 10,000 lasses. I mean, I can just imagine. I can remember the glory days in Basse where you can even get a ram for less than 5,000 lasses. But
the cost of that, if you look at the border, you know, Basse we used to get the supply all the way from Mali, from Senegal, that is from Tambacounda, and going up to around the Guinea's end.
Yes.
But as we speak, the border in Mali is closed. And the rams that are coming from Senegal, they're very, very few. And those that are coming from Senegal, and they are very expensive. They are buying these things in safer. Our businessmen moving from Gambia to go to Senegal to buy this thing, the safer is very, very high. Today, the 5,000 safer is around $460. So if the exchange rate is very high, when they purchase these animals in a very high price, if they come, and the target of a businessman is to make profit. So this is always the problem here. So, but before, the reason why it was so cheap, because there was that influx of animals coming in, a lot of animals coming in from the border countries. But now we have not seen that happening because there are conflicts happening in the sub-region, and this is really hampering some of the developments in Upper River region. And it will filter down in other part of the country because Basse has been the supplier, but even in the Greater Banjul Combo, in the Greater Banjul.
Definitely.
So, but as we speak, Basse itself does not have enough supply, so it will be difficult to supply other areas in the Gambia.
Exactly. Alaji Jallo, thank you very much for talking to us on this morning.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you.
All right, Alaji Jallo there, our regional correspondent talking to us from Basse URR. And of course, it's a very tense situation at the moment. I mean, if Basse people can complain how costly things are, I mean, I don't know what Banjul is waiting for.
Well, I mean, it's equally
if you do your analysis, at least, you know, for me, I will expect things to be much more expensive in Basse than in the Combos, because people buy goods from here and they transport it to Basse. So all those costs is involved. So one will have expected, okay, things in Basse will have been more expensive than those in Banjul.
When you look at the when it comes,
I don't know what you think.
When it comes to other forms of, you know, food stuff, other commodities here, I can understand. But when it comes to livestock, I don't expect it.
No, I'm not talking about livestock. I'm talking about, you know,
definitely.
Livestock
but really,
cheaper,
prices of goods have been skyrocketing everywhere in the country, across the board, within the Greater Banjul area, outside the Greater Banjul area, the remotest areas in this country. It has been everywhere. So it's a countrywide problem, and it really needs a countrywide solution as we speak. Yeah.
Exactly. So it's really it's a very tense situation. Now let's look at the government gives update on planned renovation, remodeling of Independence Stadium. Do we need that? We need a new stadium, for God's sake.
Well, Ali is the sports guy.
Ali, we need a new stadium.
Yes, that's true. I would totally agree with you that right now we need a new stadium. But looking at the situation of this country at the moment, I think it wouldn't be bad also to renovate the current stadium. Yes, it is true. I mean, the current stadium, if you look at the structure, is old-fashioned. I mean, this stadium was built in the early 1980s, and you know, haven't gone under major renovation since then. And then when you visit other stadiums, you will see the difference. I mean, there is so much difference between, like, for example, if you go to Senegal, for example, just closest neighbor here, their stadiums and our stadium are completely different. This is old-fashioned, and a lot need to be changed as far as the stadium is concerned. But then, I mean, it's just unfortunate that, I mean, this, what we have, I mean, if the government can allocate fund, like they're saying $100 million is to help renovate the stadium, it's not going to be a bad idea. But then, I mean, people are saying, okay, 100 million is too much.
$100 million.
That's what they're claiming, to be able
Don't
to renovate the stadium.
To renovate the stadium?
No, I doubt.
I don't think so.
100 million?
Well, I'm not the expert
Exactly,
in that area,
exactly.
But yeah, I mean, if they put the money to good use, of course they can do a lot of work.
You know, it depends on what you are renovating to.
But also they need to look at the people that are going to be handling these funds if, you know, they eventually disburse. Because look at the renovations at the airport. I mean, lots of money was pumped into it, and it's almost the same as it used to be.
And you can't even see what is done.
You can't even tell the difference. So I mean, it all boils down to who's going to handle the project, and how experienced they are and how knowledgeable they are as regards to the work that would be handed over to them. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Lamin Fall, for joining us on this morning. It's always good to have you here.
Thank you. Always a pleasure.
But don't let Aliu have something to say on you, man.
No, it's okay.
Ali,
he crossed the
no, I mean, we don't have anything to say about
You need to be saluting Aliu, huh?
Exactly.
Maybe in the next 3 months.
Wow, all right, thank you. At least you've tried.
Yeah.
All right, thank you very much, viewers. We'll take a short break. After the break, the program continues. We'll be back.
As
fastest growing GSM company in the Gambia. QCell has the widest 4G plus coverage in the country, 3 times faster internet speed than our competitors. So switch now and dial *335# and enjoy what true 4G feels like. QCell, the Gambia's trusted network.
QCell woni GSM company ɓurɗo janɗude ko leydi Gambia ɗo e QCell 4G plus coverage on ɓuri yawude laaɓi tati ɓe woni poɗodirde ɓen. Waɗu dial *335# fi wawa nafitorade ko woni 4G. QCell network ɓuraɗo holorede ko leydi Gambia.
QCell GSM company minna yirwa tariyata Gambia banko kan. QCell la 4G plus network o ye banko bela mura andung ala internet o tariyata sidula saba katambi nyongol la. Sawun sahin ye *335# kumande yadati kemuna fang 4G sobe wala. QCell Gambia la network lanna yare on.
QCell company bu ëppa client yu ees yu koy jëfandikoo ci biir réew mi. QCell am 4G plus coverage bu gën a yaatu ci biir réew mi, internet bu gën a gaaw ñetti yoon naataangoom yi kon nag toxul léegi dal di dial *335# dal di bànneexu 4G bu déggantaan. QCell network Gambia bu ñu gën a wóolu.
The biggest mobile money service in the Gambia has taken mobile banking to the next level. Now, you can link your Q-Money wallet with your bank account. Yes, link your Ajib or EcoBank accounts with your Q-Money wallet and get instant access to your cash anytime. No need to queue at the bank anymore. Transfer funds from your bank account to your wallet or your wallet to your bank account using Q-Money Bank Link is the fastest, most secure, and convenient way to transfer funds between your wallet and bank account. For more information, call our customer care on 133. Q-Money, Sunyu Kalpe. Terms and conditions apply. Check out the all-new Tigo 8 at S.
Watching QTV this morning. Welcome back from that break. And of course, now we'll take a look at how young men collect and put together an art gallery. And we have Mohamed Lamin Sanyang and Abdullah Konta in the studio with us. We'll take a look at this and, you know, center our discussion on how they are doing this, the importance, and, you know, the process it took them to gather some of these things. You're welcome, Mohamed Lamin and Abdullah Konta.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Balde.
Yes.
Thank you for having us.
Yes.
Thank you.
First of all, let's start with what you do.
So my day job is a software engineer. I work for Matrix Solutions. We make and build software solutions for clients. However, I occasionally paint, and we decided to establish an art gallery to kind of represent that interest and passion as well. Mm-hmm. So I'll let Molamin introduce himself as well.
Yes, Molamin here. I am a biochemist by education here in the Gambia. My day-to-day activities as a businessman, typically that's how I operate. And then now that we have this art gallery going, I spend a lot of time there. So art collector, businessman. That's typically how I operate.
Exactly. Okay, let's take a look at collecting and gathering at gallery. I mean, some people might not understand the things that you are trying to do, the things that you are doing. Why do you think this is important?
Well, good question, Mr. Balde. Collecting art is like collecting cultures, and collecting cultures, when you get to collect cultures, you can exhibit cultures. You can educate people on why things are made the way they are made. Currently, my exhibition is still going at the Key Art. It was supposed to end end of last month, but we kind of pushed it. Right now, Gambian artists are coming in there, and they're seeing works by other artists from Europe and America, works that I've collected and brought back to the Gambia. So it's educating them onto how to move, how to immerse and, you know, kind of collect other cultures and put it in their work, and it's got inspiration, if you like. So this could be done in many different ways. Eventually, we'd like to have Gambian works here, taken out the country, and then going from there.
Okay. For a layman, I mean, I'll ask, how is an art that is collected from the U.S. or any other part of the world going to benefit me in the Gambia? I mean, putting it there, I prefer seeing my own Gambian painting. How is this going to benefit the man in the Gambia?
Oh, very good question. Well, everything is inspiration. Everything, some works of art, they have healing properties. For instance, they have some sort of nostalgia, you know. So if you're in the Gambia and I bring you a painting, a still life that was depicted in Kentucky, then all of a sudden now you've been to Kentucky, you have an idea of what the landscape in Kentucky looks like. So you have that aspect, but also, like I said, medicinal purposes, you know, just like that inspiration, that nostalgia. And then you get to learn about other cultures too. Like, so if you're a carpenter here in Gambia, you know, we have art that's, you know, furniture. You get to see like an old imperial Chinese table. You could probably make one similar to that, but depicting a Gambian scene. So for a local person, it's all about education and inspiring curiosity, just satisfying curiosity, really.
I just want to know, is this something that you inherited or you learned in school?
Thank you so much, Mr. Sete. For me, myself...
yes, both of you. I said both of you. Okay. I would just like to know.
Yeah. For art, something that I learned how to draw when I was in 2nd grade. And usually, interestingly, by a researcher, Brené Brown, she said that a lot of people around this time, when they're 10 years old, they either learn to pick up art or they don't. And usually depends on the type of feedback that they get from their environment and their peers. Fortunately for me, I had positive feedback from my peers, and also when my mom used to take me to Senegambia to actually sit with this young artist, and he would teach me a thing or two about how to draw. It's something that stayed in the background until a few years ago when I decided to pick it up as a hobby again and decided to have an exhibition.
Yes, Sanya?
Yeah, for me, honestly, you know, people have asked me, and I think it just came naturally, you know, during my life cycle, because, well, when I was younger, you know, I grew up in Serekunda down there by the market. You know, it's always an eclectic mix of things in Serekunda. You see from, you know, we have all cultures there, even today, you know. So just seeing the different things, the different nuances, the different items people sell, I started having a curiosity for individual items. Like initially I might have liked the sneakers first, like the second-hand market, you know, like I'm not gonna act like I was only buying new sneakers, because back then, you know, new sneakers were really expensive. So we were buying the reused sneakers, and we'll have the local artists down the street paint. You know, there might be some paint cuffs, you know, scuffs, and we'll take it to the guy. He'll, you know, repaint it for us and stuff like that. So I kind of started with that. Then I went to like goldfish and rabbits. So I think I have this, you know, weird sense of wanting to like have a multitude of things, and you know, yeah.
What does art do to the soul? I mean, looking at it at a certain place, because you can go to an office or a particular resident and you see a particular painting.
Right.
It looks so cool. It makes you feel very calm. It makes you fall in love with it. I understand it's not only looking at it, but it does something to your inner self.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
Yeah.
Every art piece has maybe a meaning behind them, and those meanings, there's the meaning of the artist, and there's the meaning of the audience that actually looks at work, and all of these things is what the art could also mean. So, for instance, abstract is one of the most obscure kind of painting that you could look at. You could look in an abstract painting and find a lot of meanings that the artist did not originally intend. We've had this conversation of a piece that was in the gallery recently, and what I intended to create in that piece was a straight message, was to kind of enlight goodness in a person. But when he looked at it, he saw much more than that. And this is what art could do. We spent hours looking at this painting, trying to figure out what other things it could mean. That is one aspect of it. And the other aspect, the symbolism can actually give you a sense of calmness. So if you had a painting in your room, you walk into the room and it could inspire you into your day to actually do whatever you're intending to do. In an office, it also could bring together sort of a aesthetic that would actually cause people to be more creative. Every time you look at it, you probably get an inspiration, whatever you're doing. So that's what art does to do. It's the inspiration that it gives a person.
So let's talk about the adaptation of Gambians. I mean, how are they adapting to what you're doing now?
Interesting. I think the process of adaptation has to be ongoing, especially in the field of art, because it's I wouldn't say art is new here. I think art is very old. You know, from my ancestors, they've always been artistic. I think now more than ever, Gambians are now starting to see that it makes sense. What I see now, I see more younger Gambians, like, because we down there in Carnivore Estate, we've seen more students from you know, Methodist and all the surrounding schools. Honestly, the bulk of our customers, I mean, bulk of our visitors are students. You know, because they're really curious. You know, they walk down there and the door's open, and then they come in and they ask about individual pieces. So, you know, I think that's really, you know, like, it's really heartwarming to see that students are curious, you know, because like they are really the next generation. As far as older Gambians, the ones that have typically graced the gallery are of two types. The first type are, you know, people who just curious, and the other type are men and women who really want to like purchase and acquire, and really like maybe have an idea to engage with us, you know, commercially in a business setting. So I think the engagement is good. It could be better, but also we also need to market more. And we, you know, we're both busy. I'm a businessman, and he has a day job as an engineer. So it's really hard, but we are slowly but surely getting a team together to really increase the engagement aspect of everything.
So what about, I mean, do you have any people, maybe government departments that are supporting, especially people like the National Center for Arts and Culture? Are you partnering with them in any way? Or did you engage them?
Great question.
We're not currently partnered with anyone. What we briefly spoke to some of the team members, and they currently haven't reached out to follow up on those concerns. However, we are open to collaboration, because what our key vision is to promote art and artistic expression in Gambia. What we're looking to do is find the talents that are in Gambia and giving them the exposure that they deserve, because what we have discovered is that there's a plethora of Gambian artists. There's huge talent in Gambia. And all of these people have diverse set of skills. But some of them lose interest over time because of the lack of exposure or lack of positive feedback or a lack of economic support. So what we are trying to do is make sure we facilitate for them to have that economic support, gain that exposure so that they can take that talent as far as it would take them. And not only locally, but internationally as well. But so our doors are open. Our key trait is that we want to collaborate, always. We're always looking to collaborate. Anybody who wants to come on board, we're open to actually, as long as the vision is to promote art and artistic expression, we're on board with every one of that.
How long does it take, I mean, for you to put all these things together? I mean, when did you start, I mean, putting it together in the Gambia?
So we set up the gallery in March, first week of March, and during that time I had
March 2022.
2022, this year. So during that time I had painted 10 pieces using the Gambian colors, and my exhibition was a Gambia Reimagined. I used the Gambian colors to sort of send a message and embed like things that are like of interest to Gambians. Once my exhibition was over, we wanted to start pushing Gambian arts and artists in Gambia. So what we did next was have a 5-man exhibition, 5-artist exhibition, where they showcase for a month, where 5 Gambian artists with their varying set of skills kind of showcase their work at the gallery. After their exhibition was over, that's when I met up with Maud Lamin, and we started a partnership. And as a Gambian and a Gambian collector, which still fit into the narrative, we exhibited his works, which were mainly American works, because that's what that's where he started off as. He definitely is interested in like collecting Gambian works as well, which is part of his journey. And what we're planning to have next is a whole bunch of Gambian artists. By early September, we're also looking at showcasing young Gambian women artists, where we met up with 3 already, and they're going to showcase their work at the gallery.
I just want to know, with all these achievements we've come this far, what are the key challenges that could perhaps affect your work?
Well, the biggest challenge is really the time factor, having the time to put it together. Because back to piggyback into your initial question, how long it takes to do it. Like for instance, it took like 2 months to set up my exhibition, because first of all, my art pieces were everywhere. I had some in Sanyang, I had some in Serakunda, I had some in Canifing and my parents, so like getting all the artworks down to Key Art Gallery, and then sorting everything and deciding, okay, this will fit. Because some pieces, we just had to hand pick the pieces we thought would fit the exhibition I was having. So that's one aspect. But the challenges we face, first of all, as a collector, is easier if you could like every now and then sell off some of your pieces to buy more. That's one thing. So a big challenge now is, for instance, if I wanted to sell off a couple of my pieces here in Gambia to buy more Gambian pieces, my buyers are typically in the US. Buyers for the kind of art I have, because they're American art, So I have a few customers here, but then the core of my buyers, they're in the US. So that's one challenge, it's like to get revenue for the art that I already have. That's one challenge. The second challenge now is kind of ties into the first one, is getting a whole bunch of art, local-based art from Gambian artists, and then the third challenge will be like to give real good value in those, so they could like really be valuable to the international and European and American and rest of African market. Because once we do that, then our gallery will have value, because you can fill your gallery up with art, but if the art is not valuable, it just has nostalgic just properties, but you really want art to be valuable. That's Absolutely. What you really want. Yeah. You really want it to be valuable, and it's a process for that. The process is just like an artist is like an individual sports person. You have to be, people have to know what he can do, or he or she can do, and then they have to see the value. So we are really running the rat race in trying to market ourselves, market our artists, and get a whole bunch of art in the gallery.
Yeah, just to piggyback on what he just said, one of the biggest challenge has been in the past exposure. That's why we are very grateful for this opportunity, because the rest of Gambia can see what we're trying to do. And the second thing is funding, because we have other ideas that we want to bring to the table. For instance, by next Friday, we're looking of premiering a young Gambian film. He's in the film industry. He shoots all of his films on his iPhone. Very young Gambian, very talented, and we're looking to premiere his work. So things like that, they incur kind of a cost on us, because what we are trying to do is not only showcase their work, but also meet more filmmakers and then try to provide equipment for them to use to be able to showcase their works. And that's only photographers as well. And we're looking at also dancers. We're looking at people who are doing drama, actors. We're looking at all of this just to kind of showcase any form of art to be able to be showcased to the rest of the world, not just painting. So all of these things kind of come with a set of cost. And we've had enough to be able to strategically get what we want out there, but also the help.
Thank you very much, Modulamin Sajing and Abdullah Conte. I mean, this is all we have. I wish we had a lot of time to discuss this, but I mean, we'll try to follow you on this journey.
Definitely.
Don't hesitate anytime. You can contact us. We will be very grateful to partner with you people.
Definitely.
Yes. Thank you very much for coming on this platform.
Thank you.
We'll take a short break. After the break, we'll talk to Hadinyang. She is currently in Banjul to look at the crossing point at the riverside. We'll be back.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
As the fastest growing GSM company in the Gambia, QCell has the widest 4G plus coverage in the country, 3 times faster internet speed than our competitors. So switch now and dial *335# and enjoy what true 4G feels like. QCell, the Gambia's trusted network.
QCell woni GSM company ɓurɗon janɗude ko leydi Gambia ɗo e QCell 4G plus coverage on ɓuri yawude laaɓi tati ɓe wone poɗodirde ɓen. Waɗu dial *335# fi wawa nafitorade ko woni 4G. QCell network ɓuraɗo holorede ko leydi Gambia.
QCell GSM company minna yirwa tariyata Gambia banko kan. QCell la 4G plus network o ye banko bela mura. Andung ala internet o tariyata sidula saba katambi nyongol la. Sawun sahin yesta 335# kumande. Yadati kemuna fang 4G sobe wala. QCell Gambia la network lanna yare on.
You're watching QTV this morning. We are back again, and of course, today there is no click, but we'll talk to Hadinyang. She's currently in Banjul. As you know, people are busy crossing to Nyomi to go spend to Basse with their families back home. And of course, we'll talk to Hadinyang. Hello, Boss Hadi. Suma boss hana Libya ngay dem nak yang ci bori geej bi de
bilay na bu ko dem bagwe way gal yi dem bagwe duñ den taxaw fi man
wa dañ bëggoon nga wax ñu lu nekk fofu time bi lu nekk di xew Banjul
waaw maa ngi lay nuyu ñi seetaan yëpp di nuyu ñu nekk si plateforme bi jamono bi tey nag ñu ngi fii ci Banjul gaal garage moto yi dañu am garage ferry yi am garage waaye gaal yi dañu am garage fii mooy gaal garage
men
ci terminal bi fii ci tefes bi ñu ñëw pour waxtaan ak borom gaal yi xool ndax tobaski bi busy am na fii ndax nit ñaa ngi dem di jël gaal gi am déet sëñ bi na nga def yaa ngi am jàmm tur bi nan la
Waly Ngom
Ngom may sax waaw Waly ana seeni nit
ñun amuñu nit
julli bi liggéeyu leen
liggéeyuñu dara
lan mooy indi gàllankoor bi
léeg-léeg si féeri yi la ak bundu xatal yi ñuy bundu xatal nit ñi
yan façon yi bundu xatal lañ leen di bundu xatal
léeg-léeg dañuy ñëw fii liggéey bi du dox ñu ñuy teg taxi ya nga xam ne kenn te liggéey bi loolu kii wuñu
ñu leen di wàccaloo ban time
6 heures wala balaa 6 heures sax ñu wàcc waaw
waaye tabaski bi waroon ngeen a busy nag am ay client yu bari
waaw ci client moom xam nga client yi bu ñu bëri la ñuy ñëw fii ñu ne xam nga borom gaal li léeg-léeg ñu ñëw amuñu life jacket amuñu dara waaw
ana lu tax amu leen life jacket
nguur gi ñu war a jàppale si life jacket
te loolu lu ngeen war a bàyyi xel la
waaw loolu lu war a am la nag waaw ñun amuñu doole ñooñu war a dimbale jàppale ñu waaw loolu mooy suñu problème waaw
jërëjëf bu ko defee rek ba léegi rek ñu ngi ci tefes bi góor yàlla waaw bëgg nañoo xam ba léegi ñu ngi fii ci terminal bi bëgg a xam ba léegi gaal yi nan la ñu doxee maa ngi lay nuyu.
waaw ziar naa la ndaw si.
tur bi.
man Tidiane.
waaw Tidiane naka ngeen dundee ko tabaski ji nag.
tabaski bi ren moom doxul dara.
lu tax doxul.
because ñetti féer yi mooy daw.
waaw
te brique bi daf ñu laal Tras Gambia. te gaal yi ñu ngay fay taxe.
waaw
bu baax am weer bu dee dañoo fay taxe at bu nekk. te dëkk bi dafa métti. géej bi doxut tabaski bi ren doxut because fu nekkee ne ñetti féer yi ñooy daw. ñu nag suñ gaal yi ñu ngay dem si jaama di ñëw si jaama te Gambia ñu ngay caaxaane loo xam ne suñ ñun géej lañ am géej bi waruñ koo caaxaanee torole yi ñu ngay yaa suñ géej bi torole yi mbaal si géej bi mooy ceenis yeeg sénégalais yeeg gars yëpp ñu ngay yaa suñ géej bi because ñun Gambia ñun géej lañ am ñun jaayuñ tay demuñ baag wee taripere bara fii lañ nekk Banjul ñu ngay liggéey di daan suñ doole understand nga nguur bi nag dañ ñu war a dimbale mooy lan ñu indi ay toro la doom yi dëkk bi mën a liggéey.
maa ngi dégg kenn di wax fii ne amuñ ay life jacket yu bari.
life jacket am nañ ko bu doy gaal yëpp am nañ life jacket gaal boo gis fii yëpp am na life jacket gaal yi ñu ngay dem si jaama di ñëw si jaama contrôle bi nu mu war a demee mu ngi koo demee te kenn gaañuwu fi kenn coonuwu fi.
naa seen distop mooy féeri bi.
distop mooy ñetti féeri ñu ngay daw ak bridge bi.
waaw bridge ba fële
Baba Tenda xar yëpp foofu lañ jaar.
te fii lañ
daan jaar fii da nga doon eb ay 300 xar 400 xar 500 xar naa léegi loolu amatut.
kon dafa mel ni yéen tabaski bi daal lépp a selaw.
yëpp a selaw tabaski suñu boor daal ñun gaal yi doxut ren moom doxut ndax am nañ jaama nag am wér loolu macha allah.
waaye dafa mel ni bagage yi di wàcce si gaal gi lay ñëw de.
waaw bagage yi di wàcce nii si gaal bi lay ñëw duga because gaal yi client su amut dañ dee mën a am bagage di ko yóbbu because gaal bu nekk fii da nga am sa jula ana sang nga gaal bu nekk da nga am jula naa ñu ngi foratu nanga ñu ngi am dépasse ñu ngi dem naa nanu nguur bi toppatoo ñu contrôle géej bi nguur bi dafa war a contrôle géej bi ñun géej lañ am moom lañ yaakaar xam nga dañ ko war a contrôle bu baax a baax te QTV yéen a ngi def seen liggéey yàlla def jaama si yéen def ko si aduna bi yëpp ibi xiiwali waaw jërëjëf.
amuloo morom kontaan nañ ci moom gis nañ ne ñoom ñu ngi jàmbat daal li gën a métti mooy ñu ngi wax ne jamono bii féeri bi ñetti féeri mooy bi daw te ñetti féeri yi daw yëpp benn bu eb dem rek beneen taxaw na kon client yi nga xam ne ñoo daan ñëw di faral di jël gaal léegi ci féeri bi la ñuy jël jàmbat na leneen muy Baba Tenda xam ngeen ne bu yàggut birit nañ foofu te gis ngeen ne ñu bari léegi fa la ñuy jaar xar yi dugg Gambie ci tabaski bi tam fa lañ jaar loolu tam nekk na seen jafe-jafe kon bu ko defee askani réew mi ñu jar a jàppale leen ndax ñu ngi wax ne ñoom Gambie géej lañ am te sëgam géej lañ am nag dañoo war a jàppale ñi ci géej gi saka ay ndaw lañ te doomi réew mi lañ te loolu dina si am solo mu mel ni Balde Banna
waaw
tey lii moo nekkoon li ma leen ñëwoon indi leen fii ci biir Banjul
boss Hadi jërëjëf kontaan nañ trop
waaw
thank you very much
thank you
that's my boss the bigger boss herself Hadi Nyang Mbalo from Banjul allo affaire si mu ngi mel ni boori yëpp
exactly te man po na borom gaale liñ fa wax I mean seen right la I mean affaire bi ne ko di dox ni mu war a doxee ba den ku nekk tam sa safety moo nekk war a nekk sa first priority for example man su ma doon jaala Banjul baara balaa ma dugg gaal ma dugg fere moo ko gënal I think man su ma fàttali ko fanaa ñaari yoon laa musa dugg gaal diggante Banjul ak baara lu des yëpp feri laa dee dugg te fanaa lu tam bu dee feri yaa ngee daw ñetti fana balaa ñu daw di dugal si gaal di la ep ñu la dugal si gaal yaa ngi gis ferry ba xam ne feel is more safe fana si man nga dugal ferry moo gën daal so exactly
waaw loolu la sax ba pare
waaw ñoom tam fana ne bu dee like ferry yi nekkuñ di daw dañ dee mën a liggéey xaalis ñoom tam Why, as long as ferry and get down, people will prefer using the ferries than the duga still be gal no lingé fight and wala sera.
Exactly.
Yeah, lingé charge dafa serto.
Wow, si gali.
Yeah.
Wow. Xam naa ne dañoo ne gaal moom fast track la dafa gaaw pour fat mu aga bara. Waaye nag da nga gis ne tam ferry bi moo gën a safe at some point because soo duggee si ferry bi moom yow xam nga ne you are secure waaye soo nekkee si gaal itam sometimes dañ dem ba si digga sax muy def nii amin
gaal yi ka xam naa boobu dañ ko bàyyi waa ñoom yi xam nga ñoom min ndox waaw
nañ dugga foofu ñoom ñu lifin waaye it's interesting that ñoom tam dégg nañ their own side of the story ñoom tam fii lañ bokka waaye comme foofu la ñoo dundee foofu la ñoo amee seen dépense can discourage you from def send business. Mun nañoo def send business. You know, why nañ consider the safety of the people. Wow. So Aliou, I think this is all we have today on this edition of This Morning. Join us tomorrow, inshallah, Aliou.
Thank you so much, Bali. It was a pleasure to be on this program.
Bye for now.